I caught my spoiled sister making out with my boyfriend just a week before her wedding. Unable to stay silent, I called her fiancé. At first, I thought he ignored it, but he made a huge announcement on the wedding day. I, 28F, was in a difficult situation with my sister, 26F, and my boyfriend, 29M. My sister's wedding was coming up, and I noticed she was acting strange around my boyfriend. It wasn't anything obvious at first, just little things that made me uncomfortable. It started with small comments. My sister would say things like, "Wow, you're so funny," to my boyfriend's jokes, even when they weren't that great. She laughed a bit too hard at everything he said. I tried to brush it off at first, thinking maybe she was just being extra friendly because of the wedding excitement. But then I noticed more. She started finding reasons to touch him casually, a hand on his arm when talking or bumping into him accidentally when walking past. It was subtle, but it was there. I saw her eyes lingering on him a bit too long when he wasn't looking, and it made my stomach churn. I tried to talk to my boyfriend about it one night after we got home from a family dinner where my sister had been particularly flirty. I brought it up. "Did you notice how Sarah was acting tonight?" I asked him. He looked confused. "What do you mean?" I explained what I had seen, the laughing, the touching, the looks. He listened but then just shrugged. "I think you're reading too much into it," he said. "She's probably just excited about the wedding. It's harmless." But it didn't feel harmless to me. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I decided to keep a closer eye on things, hoping I was wrong. The next few weeks were tense. Every time we were around my sister, I found myself watching her like a hawk. I noticed more and more little things that bothered me. She would always sit next to my boyfriend if she could. She'd find excuses to ask for his help with wedding-related tasks, even though I was right there. One day, we were all at my parents' house for a family barbecue. I went inside to use the bathroom, and when I came back out, I saw my sister and my boyfriend talking quietly in a corner of the yard. They were standing close together, and my sister was giggling at something he said. When they saw me, they quickly stepped apart, and my sister walked away. I felt sick to my stomach. I wanted to confront them right then and there, but I didn't want to cause a scene at the family gathering. Instead, I waited until we got home that night. "What were you and Sarah talking about earlier?" I asked my boyfriend as casually as I could. He looked surprised by the question. "Oh, just some wedding stuff." She was asking my opinion on the music selection. I raised an eyebrow. "And that required you to stand so close together?" He sighed. "Come on, not this again. I told you, there's nothing going on. Sarah's just being friendly." I couldn't hold back anymore. "Friendly? She's practically throwing herself at you, and you're not doing anything to stop it." He looked hurt. "What do you want me to do? She's your sister. I'm trying to be nice to her. I can't just tell her to go away." "You could set some boundaries," I said. "You could make it clear you're not interested." "But I'm not interested," he insisted. "There's nothing to make clear. You're seeing things that aren't there." We argued for a while, but it went nowhere. He kept insisting I was imagining things, and I couldn't make him see what was so obvious to me. In the end, we went to bed angry and frustrated. The next day, I decided I needed to talk to my sister directly. I called her and asked if we could meet for coffee. She agreed, sounding cheerful and oblivious to my concerns. We met at a small cafe near her apartment. I was nervous, my hands shaking slightly as I stirred my coffee. My sister chatted happily about wedding plans, not noticing my discomfort. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "Sarah," I interrupted her. "We need to talk about something." She looked at me, surprised by my serious tone. "What's wrong?" I took a deep breath. "I've noticed how you've been acting around Tom lately," I said, referring to my boyfriend. "The flirting, the touching, the way you look at him, it needs to stop." Her face went through a range of emotions, surprise, confusion, then anger. "What are you talking about?" she demanded. "I haven't been flirting with Tom." Yes, you have, I insisted. Maybe you don't realize you're doing it, but you are, and it's making me very uncomfortable. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. You're being ridiculous. Tom's practically family. I'm just being friendly. It's more than that, I said. You're always finding excuses to be near him, to touch him. You laugh at all his jokes, even the bad ones. It's obvious what you're doing. Her face flushed red. I can't believe you're accusing me of this, she said, especially right before my wedding. Are you really that insecure? Her words stung, but I pressed on. This isn't about insecurity. It's about respect. You're crossing a line, and it needs to stop. She stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this, she said. You're being paranoid and ridiculous. If you can't trust your own sister, that's your problem, not mine. She stormed out of the cafe, leaving me sitting there alone. I felt awful. Had I made a mistake? Was I really just being paranoid? When I got home, my boyfriend was there. He could tell something was wrong as soon as I walked in. What happened? He asked. I told him about my conversation with Sarah. As I spoke, his face grew more and more concerned. When I finished, he sighed heavily. I think you've made a big mistake, he said. Sarah's going to be really hurt by this, and right before her wedding, too. I felt defensive. So you're taking her side? He shook his head. I'm invited, and he said he thought we should both go to show there were no hard feelings. But the thought of watching my sister walk down the aisle, knowing how upset she was with me, made me feel sick. I tried to call Sarah a few times, but she didn't answer. I left voicemails apologizing, saying we needed to talk, but she never called back. I even went to her apartment, but she wouldn't open the door. As the wedding day got closer, I felt more and more anxious. My boyfriend kept telling me to relax, that everything would blow over, but I wasn't so sure. I had a nightmare where I showed up at the wedding and everyone turned to stare at me, whispering and pointing. I woke up in a cold sweat. Update. Things got worse after my confrontation with Sarah. She told our mom about my accusations, and Mom was furious with me. She called me, yelling about how I could be so selfish and paranoid right before Sarah's wedding. How could you accuse your own sister of such a thing, she demanded. I tried to explain my side, but she wouldn't listen. She told me I needed to apologize to Sarah immediately and fix this mess. The tension in our family was unbearable. Sarah still wouldn't speak to me, and now my parents were upset too. My boyfriend, Tom, kept insisting I was overreacting, which only made me feel more lonely and frustrated. A week before the wedding, I went to my parents' house to try and smooth things over. As I approached the front door, I heard muffled voices from the side of the house. Curious, I walked around to the garden and froze in shock at what I saw there. Partially, to those who supported me through this ordeal, thank you. Your words of encouragement meant more than you know. And to those in similar situations, remember, trust your gut and don't let anyone gaslight you into doubting your own perceptions.